Hello everybody, so excited to be here with you today. And today I'm going to show you how to make an apple tart using puff pastry. For this cookery class you're going to need the following ingredients: some cooking apples, some lemon, about 3 ounces of white sugar, some flour to roll the pastry out onto. I'm using Jus Rol frozen pastry, which by the way you have to leave to thaw either at room temperature or in the fridge overnight before you use it. A rolling pin to roll out the pastry, 1 egg and a pastry brush. And last but not least, you will need a tray. This is a 12-inch round tray with greaseproof parchment baking paper. So let's get started. Before I begin to show you how to make the puff pastry apple tart, I'd just like to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Siobhán and this is my YouTube cookery channel. Some of you may know me from my other channel, which is A Taste of Siobhán's Designs, because I'm actually a jewellery designer and maker, but I also love to cook and bake. So here we go. First we remove the pastry from the wrapper, like so. Disregard the paper. Then we get the flour. Sprinkle your worktop surface with the flour. Get your rolling pin and sprinkle some flour over the rolling pin, like that. Introduce your pastry to the sprinkled flour and add another little bit of flour on top of the pastry, just so that it won't stick to the rolling pin, to make it easier for rolling out. Starting in the middle, push out, roll it out and roll it back. Roll it out and roll it back. Turn the pastry around and roll again. And again on the other side. You're kind of rolling it out into a reasonably even rectangular shape. So then we just flip it around again. Another little bit of sprinkled flour over the surface. And again onto the rolling pin. And roll. So you continue this process until you have it about 1/4 of an inch thick. The next step, you take your cooking dish and just lay it down on top of the pastry to see that you've rolled out enough so that it'll actually fit into your dish. Perfect. So now you will get the rolling pin and fold the pastry back onto the rolling pin, like so. Lift it up. Get your baking tray or cooking dish and place the pastry onto the parchment paper. We're going to line the inside of the baking tray with the puff pastry and make sure that you bring it up around the side to form kind of a lip. So at this stage then we're going to trim the corners of the parchment paper. Just around the edges like so. Continue to do that all the way around. And then we're going to trim the pastry to cut off the excess. So lift the tray up, get a knife and just go around the edges like that. And trim off all the excess pastry, just like so, all the way around until you get to where you started. So you can set that aside because you can make something with that again later on. Now at this stage what you're going to do is get your cooking apples, peel them, core them and slice them thinly. Just before you start to peel and core and cut the apples, I suggest that you turn on the oven. You turn it on to 180 degrees and let it preheat before we finish off our tart. So now I have the apples ready cut. So what we're going to do now is get the egg. Crack the egg into a little bowl. Lightly whisk it, like so. And with this we are going to line the base of the pastry using our pastry brush. So grab your pastry brush and brush the base of the pastry with the beaten egg all the way around. Now the reason we used parchment paper underneath the pastry is that when it is baked it will you can remove it from the dish quite easily and you'll have a nice crusty base to your tart. Now that done, next we get our apples and we arrange them all around in a circle. Now it's up to you to decide how much apples you want to use. In our house we love apples and fruit, so I'm going to line the base of this apple tart with loads of cooking apples. So you just continue all the way around like so, and we're almost getting to the end of our preparation of the tart. Can almost taste it and it's not even cooked yet. My mouth is just watering. And I love using the puff pastry because you get a lovely texture from the pastry. Now you can alternatively make your own puff pastry, but this is quite a quick and efficient way and saves a little bit of time. Now once you've that done, you then get your lemon juice, sprinkle over lemon juice over the apples, and then sugar. Sprinkle the sugar, which was 3 ounces of sugar, white sugar, granulated sugar, and you go all the way around, et voila! Now we have it ready to go into the oven to bake for 30 minutes. Now 30 minutes later, here's our finished puff pastry tart. Enjoy!